I was imagining fantasy and reality and kids' dreams coming true. When I first saw a kids' fantasy art piece, I was amazed at the combination of raw artistic talent combined with current conventional digital application. It just was amazing. Never seen before, and it almost seemed like it was like an astronaut, like from another planet, and it just also was very expressive, and I was really amazed at how it was able to be personalized. My son PJ, who's the youngest weekly sports talk show host in the United States, had a piece done by Kids Fantasy Art, and I was absolutely blown away. It captured the essence of PJ, the things that he loves. He's a very humble child, but he also is very talented, and the piece really expressed him well. The artist Tony Capers just nailed it right on the head. He really had a wonderful expression of what really is my son. I really think that the color and integrity of kids' fantasy art is a direct reflection on the artist himself, who has a very deep emotion and sensitivity. And with children, you know, a lot of children go through a lot of things growing up with their families and friends and so forth, and I think kids' fantasy art really expresses that deep emotion that exists amongst children, and the kids' fantasy art is a way for it to be expressed outwardly. So what's amazing about kids' fantasy art is its ability to be personalized. As a parent, you love to create a timeless piece for your child, so you remember them at the point that they are. I have a son who happens to be 10 years old, and I know he's, obviously he's not going to be 10 forever. So with having a piece that was done in this era right now, it's a compilation of the 10 years of his life, his first decade of his life, in that piece, and it's timeless because of that. Comparing kids' fantasy art to regular school photography is like comparing apples to oranges. I don't think there's any way to compare the two, because photography is so unique and individualized for the child with kids' fantasy art. A photograph at school is, although very nice, it is generic and typical. Kids' fantasy art is not a fad. Kids' fantasy art is a new wave of artistic expression. And the most important thing is that beyond kids themselves and kids' fantasy, it can be anybody's fantasy. It can be adult fantasy, it can be dreams come to life, it's whatever you make it. And the artist Tony Capers is able to capture the essence of the person, the energy of that person, and put it into an individualized piece. And that's what's extraordinary.